A few moments, meditate on the Divine Supreme for peace and happiness of the whole mankind. Shanti Shanti Om Tat Sat Om Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Stapakaya cha dharmasya Sarvadharmaswarupine Avataravariष्ठाय Ramakrishna te Namah Asato ma sadgamaya Tamaso ma jyotirgamaya Mrityormamritangamaya Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let us offer our salutations to Sri Ramakrishna, the embodiment of all religions, the Supreme God Incarnate. Let us pray to Him to lead us from the unreal to the real, to lead us from the darkness of ignorance to the light of knowledge, to lead us from death to immortality. We have been discussing some of the topics taken from the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. So we are discussing on the topic Sri Ramakrishna's profound wisdom. All his teachings in Gospel we find are having profound wisdom. The whole philosophy has been described in a very simple way, and he is making us the philosophy really enjoyable. If you know the thing properly, then you will love to practice it. Sri Ramakrishna has said many times that it is not at all difficult to practice spirituality. Only you should know what is spirituality, and then you should be willing to practice it. Then everything becomes very easy. More easy rather than your worldly pursuit. Spiritual pursuit is more easy than the worldly pursuit. Because in the spiritual pursuit, as and when you are practicing spirituality, you experience glimpses of peace and happiness, which are really invaluable. Peace is what is wanted by everyone in this world. So one can hope to get real peace if one practices spirituality. So Sri Ramakrishna teaches us that how to do it, and he explains to a little extent what is Jivatma, the embodied being, and what is Paramatma, the Supreme Being. What's the relationship between the individual being and the Supreme Being. And he tells in such a way that everything in this universe is inseparably connected to the Supreme God. We may know it or we may not know it. The fact is that the whole creation is inseparably connected to the divine consciousness, the Paramatma, the Supreme Soul, the sum total of all souls is Paramatma, the Supreme Soul. So what we find, all these manifestations in the world are His own. So whatever varieties we are seeing, whatever we observe, everything, every bit of it is but the manifestation of the Supreme Divine. So the soul enchained is man or woman, but when free from the chain, it is the Lord. What's the relation between the embodied being, the embodied soul, and the Supreme Soul, Jivatman and Paramatman? What's the relation? Sri Ramakrishna explains it in a very simple way. Suppose you put a plank of wood in a tank of water. As long as the wood is there, water seems to be divided into two. So also the individual appears divided into two, the embodied being and the Supreme Being. What is it that divides? It is the Maya, the limitation of Maya. So, essentially, the Jivatman, the embodied being and the Supreme Being are one and the same. The difference between them is only of degree. And Sri Ramakrishna explains it by giving a simile. The ocean in the tranquil state is Brahman, the Supreme Divine, the absolute reality. And in the turbulent state, it is Maya. The particular word Maya. From Maya alone springs duality and relativity. Beyond Maya, there is neither the enjoyer nor the object of enjoyment. So Maya is the factor which is causing all these happenings in the creation. So once that Maya is discovered, then you attain real peace and bliss. That's what Sri Ramakrishna has said in the Gospel. Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna's foremost disciple, he has said in one of his teachings dealing with the subject Atman. He says there is but one Atman, one self, capital S, self, which is eternally true. It is eternally pure. It is eternally perfect. It is eternally unchangeable, unchanged. It has never changed, and all these various changes in the universe which we are seeing every moment, they are but appearances, just appearances in that one supreme self. Upon it, name and form have painted all these dreams. This name and form is the outcome of what is called Maya. It is this Maya that is making individuals, making one appear different from another, yet it has no existence. Maya cannot be said to exist. Form cannot be said to exist because it depends upon the existence of another thing. It cannot be said not to exist, seeing that it makes all this difference. According to the non-dualistic philosophy, this Maya, or ignorance, or name and form, or as it has been called in the Western countries, time, space and causality, is out of this one infinite existence, showing us the manifoldness of the universe. In substance, this universe is one. So long as anyone thinks that there are two ultimate realities, he is mistaken. When he has come to know that there is but one, he is right. There is Upanishad which deals with this subject. It's called Pingalopanishad. It is taken from one of the Vedas, Yajurveda. It tells Sarvajna Isho Maya Lesha Samanvito Vyashti Deham Pravishya Taya Mohito Jivatva Magamat Shariratraya Tazatmyat Kartru Bhoktratva Magamat. The meaning of this Sanskrit verse taken from the Upanishad, the all-knowing God in association with a little of Maya got into the individual body and deluded by her Maya attained soulhood, and because of identification with the threefold body attained doership and enjoyership. So all these things are happening because of the Maya. So Maya is the dividing factor. Maya is responsible for all the things happening in this world. So if you are really seeking real peace of mind, you have to discover the reality. That means you have to go beyond Maya. So you must make effort to realize that absolute reality, that you are really inseparable from the divine. You are a divine spark. You are the divine spark You have got that potential divinity in you. You must make effort as an individual being to realize that divinity in yourself. Again, Sri Ramakrishna says, when the mind is attached to the consciousness of the external world, it sees gross objects and abides in the physical sheath of the soul, which depends on food. When the mind turns itself inward, it is like shutting the door of a house and entering its inner apartments. That is to say, it goes from the gross into the subtle, thence into the causal, till it reaches the final causal state. In that state, the mind is merged in the absolute, and nothing can be said of it. So, meditation is nothing but taking the mind to that final end. When the mind becomes finer and finer, it becomes very close to the divine reality, and then finally mind merges in that reality, and you will be in ecstatic state. That's what is called as samadhi. In that state you enjoy perpetual joy. And once you have attained that samadhi state, you are free from all bondages. No more bondage for you anymore. Truth is revealed, then you just simply laugh over it. Oh, how I was ignorant all these lives. Just you laugh over it. Swami Vivekananda says in his teachings, referring to the individual beings, he said, you are already that eternal Brahman. Only the intervention of a non-intelligent mind, which is called Maya in the scriptures, is hiding that knowledge. When the mind composed of subtle matter is quelled, the Atman is effulgent by its own radiance. One proof of the fact that Maya or mind is an illusion is that the mind by itself is non-intelligent, end of the nature of darkness, and it is the light of Atman that makes it appear as intelligent. So the mind has to be dissolved. The body is but gross, it dies and dissolves in the 5 elements. But the bundle of mental impressions, which is the mind, does not die soon. It remains for some time in seed form, and then sprouts and grows in the form of a tree. It takes on another physical body and goes the round of birth and death until self-knowledge arises. When the mind dissolves, all limiting adjuncts vanish, and you are established in Brahman. So in order to reach that highest state of reality, you have to transcend your mind. Of course, through the mind, you have to go onward in your spiritual journey. You have to strengthen your spiritual mind. That takes you towards God, towards the reality. And then finally, you are going beyond the mind, then you will realize what you are. That's what the famous Upanishad says, that thou art. That thou art. You are that. Tattvamasi. And there is a Upanishad which also deals with this subject. It is called Mahopanishad. It's taken from Samaved. Just I will quote the Sanskrit words, then I will tell you the meaning. Chittamevahi samsaro ragadi klesha dushitam tadeva tair vinirmuktam bhavanta iti kathyate. Indeed, the mind tainted by afflictions like attachment, likes and dislikes, is alone that transmigratory existence. The same mind, when freed and released from the afflictions, is spoken of as the end of transmigration. So we are feeling afflictions, we are feeling bound, we are feeling the effect of our relations in this world, we are propelled by likes and dislikes. All these things are happening because of the mind. So mind is responsible for transmigratory existence. We keep on coming back and forth into this world as long as the mind stays on. So the mind continues to play in its own way unless you take control of the mind and use that mind towards realizing the truth. Once you come close to the reality, then you will say, the mind which was responsible for making more and more births and deaths will never be able to do again that way. And that is what is called absolute freedom, and you are totally released from all types of sufferings, and you are really well established in happiness and peace. So, all through Sri Ramakrishna's teachings in the Gospel, we find how Sri Ramakrishna was emphasizing about practice of spirituality. That is, have tremendous faith in the divine name. Everything will be done by the power of the divine. Sri Ramakrishna says very clearly that there is a great power in the seed of God's name. It destroys ignorance. The seed is tender and the sprout soft. Still, it pierces the hard ground. The ground breaks and makes way for the sprout. God is not different from His name. Swami Vivekananda says in his works, the great thing to consider in the path of bhakti, devotion, is the word. The name Shakti is always associated with Nama, with the name. Name is always associated with the divine power. So, there is nothing that is not name and form. We all believe God to be without form or shape, but as soon as we begin to think of Him, He acquires both name and form. Though he is formless, he takes the form as soon as we associate our mind with the divine. The whole universe is, as it were, the external symbol of God, and behind that stands his grand name. Psychologically, in the mind stuff of man, there cannot come the idea of name without the idea of form, and there cannot come the idea of form without the idea of name. They are inseparable. They are the external and the internal sides of the same wave. As such, names have been exalted and worshipped all over the world, consciously or unconsciously. Man found the glory of names. In universe, Brahma, or the cosmic Mahat, first manifested himself as name and then as form, that is, as this universe. So universe is the form of God. All this expressed sensible universe is the form behind which stands the eternal, inexpressible spota, we call in Sanskrit, the manifestor as logos or word. This spota is called the Nada Brahma, the sound Brahman. There is an Upanishad called Tara Saropanishad. It tells, Om iti Brahma bhavati, Nakaro Vishnur bhavati, Makaro Rudro bhavati, Nakaraha Ishvaro bhavati, Rakaro Andavirat bhavati, Yakaraha Purusho bhavati, Nakaro Bhagavan bhavati, Yakaraha Paramatma bhavati. This Upanishad is explaining the mantra Namo Narayanaya. That's the well established mantra of the Divine Lord. And this Upanishad explains the meaning of that Namo Narayanaya. Om Namo Narayanaya. That's the word. That's the mantra. Om Namo Narayanaya. The simple meaning is, I offer my salutations, I bow down to Narayana, the Supreme Lord, who is Om itself, who is this world itself. The world is just the creation of God Himself. So, Om Namo Narayanaya. First comes Om. Om is that which is Brahma, the Lord, the Supreme Being of the creation. Then comes Na, that is Vishnu. Ma means Rudra, Shiva. Again, Narayanaya. Na means Ishvara. Ra means Andavirat, the Lord of the egg. Ya means Purush. Na means Bhagavan. And the last word Ya, it means Paramatma, the Supreme Self. So, by uttering this name, you are uttering the name of the Supreme Lord. That means the whole thing is sanctified. The mind becomes purified by repeating the mantra, considering the whole creation as nothing but the manifestation of God. Everything is His own manifestation, and all the individual beings, in whatever state and condition they are, whatever gender they may belong to, they all are part and parcel of the same Supreme Divine Being. And so, We should concentrate upon that eternal purity, the eternal divinity, the Paramatma, the Supreme Being presiding the whole universe. Just meditating on that, concentrating the mind on that reality, one would be able to establish oneself in remarkable peace and joy. That is how we should approach spirituality, and Sri Ramakrishna has given instructions how to practice spirituality. The whole gospel is full of these instructions. Page 738. Paltu and Binode were seated in front of Sri Ramakrishna. Master said to Paltu smilingly, "What did you say to your father?" To M, he answered back, when his father told him not to come here. To Paltu, he asked, "What did you say?" Paltu said, "I said to him, yes, I go to him. Is that wrong?" The master and M laugh. "I shall say more if necessary." Master said to M smilingly, "No, no. Should he go so far?" M said, "No, sir. He should not go too far." Sri Ramakrishna laughs. Master said to Binod, "How are you? Why haven't you come to Dakshineshwar?" Binod said, "I almost came, but then I was afraid of falling ill again. I have been ill and I am not doing well." Master said, "Come to Dakshineshwar with me. The air is very good there. You will recover." The younger Naren entered the room. Sri Ramakrishna was going out to wash his hands and face. The younger Naren followed him with a towel. He wanted to pour water for the master. M was with them. Master said, "It is very hot today." M answered, "Yes, sir." Master said, "How do you live in that small room of yours? Doesn't it get very hot on the upper floor?" M answered, "Yes, sir, it gets very hot." Master said, "Besides, your wife has been suffering from brain trouble. You should keep her in a cool room." M answered, "Yes, sir, I have asked her to sleep downstairs." Sri Ramakrishna returned to the drawing room and took his seat. Master said to M, "Why didn't you come to Dakshineshwar last Sunday?" M answered, "Sir, there was no one else at home. My wife was not well, and no one was there to look after her." Sri Ramakrishna was in his way in a carriage to Devendra's house in Nimu Goswami's lane. The younger Naren, M, and one or two other devotees were with him. The master felt great yearning for Purna. He began to talk of the young disciple. Master said to M, "A great soul, or how could he make me do japa for his welfare?" But Purna doesn't know anything about it. M and the other devotees were amazed at these words. Master said, "It would have been nice if you had brought him here with you today. Why didn't you?" Seeing the younger Naren laugh, the master and the other devotees laughed too. The master said to M, laughing and pointing to Naren, "Look at him. Look how naive he looks when he laughs, as if he knew nothing. He never thinks of these three things: land, wife, and money. God cannot be realized unless the mind is totally free from lust and gold." The carriage proceeded to Devendra's house. Once Sri Ramakrishna had said to Devendra at Dakshineshwar, I have been thinking of visiting your house one day. Devendra had replied, the same idea came to my mind today, and I have come here to ask that favor of you. You must grace my house this Sunday. But, the master had said, you have a small income. Don't invite many people. The carriage hire will also run to a big amount. Devendra had answered, laughing, what if my income is small? One can run into debt to eat butter. At these words, Sri Ramakrishna had laughed a long time. Soon the carriage reached the Devendra's house. Sri Ramakrishna said to him, Devendra, don't make elaborate arrangements for my meal. Something very simple will do. I am not very well today. Sri Ramakrishna seated himself in the drawing room on the ground floor of Devendra's house. The devotees sat around him. It was evening. The room was well lighted. The younger Narain, Ram, M, Girish, Devendra, Akshay, Upendra, and some other devotees were present. As the master cast his glance on a young devotee, his face beamed with joy. Pointing to the devotee, Sri Ramakrishna said to the others, he is totally free from attachment to land, wife and money, the three things that entangle one in worldliness. The mind that dwells on these three cannot be fixed on God. He saw a vision too. To the devotee he told, tell us, what did you see? Devotee laughingly replied, I saw a heap of dung. Some were seated on it and some sat at a distance. Master, he said, it was a vision of the plight of the worldly people who are forgetful of God. It shows that all these desires are disappearing from his mind. Need one worry about anything if one's mind is detached from lust and gold? How strange! Only after much meditation and japa could I get rid of these desires, and how quickly he could banish them from his mind. Is it an easy matter to get rid of lust? I myself felt a queer sensation in my heart 6 months after I had begun my spiritual practice. Then I threw myself on the ground under a tree and wept bitterly. I said to the Divine Mother, Mother, if it comes to that, I shall certainly cut my throat with a knife. To the devotees he said, if the mind is free from lust and gold, then what else can obstruct a man? He enjoys then only the bliss of Brahman. Shashi had recently been visiting Sri Ramakrishna. He was studying at the Vidyasagar College for his bachelor's degree. The master began to talk about him. Master said to the devotees, that boy will think of money for some time, but there are some who will never do so. Some of the youngsters will not marry. The devotees listened silently to the master. Master said, it is hard to recognize an incarnation of God unless the mind is totally free from lust and gold. A man asked a seller of eggplants the value of a diamond. He said, I can give 9 shares of eggplants in exchange, and not one more. At these words, all the devotees laughed. The younger Narain laughed very loudly. Sri Ramakrishna noticed that he had quickly understood the implication of these words. We shall stop here. Any questions? You're welcome to ask. Always be free to ask any questions. If you have got any doubts, Sri Ramakrishna's teachings are very simple and direct. That's what I feel always. And because it is very simple, so it is very effective. That shows our mind should become simple, free from all egoistic tendencies. If you are humble and simple, then you are sure to understand the spiritual ideas more clearly. That's all what I can say. No question? All right. Chant the name of the Lord and His glory unceasingly, that the mirror of the heart may be wiped clean and quench that mighty forest fire, worldly lust raging furiously within. O name, stream down in moonlight on the lotus heart. O self, down deep, opening its cup to knowledge of thyself. O self, drown deep in the waves of his bliss, tasting his nectar at every step, bathing in his name, that bath for weary souls. Various are thy names, O Lord. In each and every name thy power resides. No times are set, no rites are needful for chanting of thy name. So vast is thy mercy, how huge then is my wretchedness, who find in this empty life and heart no devotion to thy name. O my mind, be humbler than a blade of grass, be patient and forbearing like a tree, take no honor to thyself, give honor to all, chant unceasingly the name of the Lord. O Lord and soul of the universe, mine is no prayer for wealth or retinue, the playthings of lust or the ties of fame. As many times as I may be reborn, grant me, O Lord, a steadfast love for thee. A drowning man in this world's fearful ocean is thy servant, O sweet one. In thy mercy consider him as dust beneath thy feet. Ah, how I long for the day when an instant's separation from thee, O Lord, will be as 1,000 years, when my heart burns away with its desire, and the world without thee is a heartless void. Prostrate at thy feet let me be, in unwavering devotion, neither imploring the embrace of thine arms, nor bewailing the withdrawal of thy presence, though it tears my soul ascend. O thou, who stillest the hearts of thy devotees, do with me what thou wilt, for thou art my heart's beloved, thou and thou alone. O Lord, lead us from the unreal to the real. Lead us from darkness to light, and lead us from death to immortality. May all be free from dangers. May all realize what is good. May all be actuated by noble thoughts. May all rejoice everywhere. May all be happy. May all be free from disease. May all realize what is good. May none be subject to misery. May the wicked become virtuous. May the virtuous attain tranquility. May the tranquil be free from bonds. May the freed make others free. May good betide all people. May the sovereign righteously rule the earth. May all beings ever attain what is good. May the worlds be prosperous and happy. May the clouds pour rain in time. May the earth be blessed with crops. May all countries be freed from calamity. May holy men live without fear. May the Lord, the destroyer of sins, the presiding deity of all sacred works, be satisfied. For, he being pleased, the whole universe becomes pleased. He being satisfied, the whole universe feels satisfied.